Los Angeles. Surveillance video from Customs and Border Protection would later show Kobayashi crossing into Mexico. Kobayashi said she arrived back in the U.S. on Sunday.
And a warning that the video that we're about to show some might find disturbing. It's new video showing a dramatic explosion that killed a top Russian general and his assistant. It happened just blocks away from the Kremlin. Officials say a bomb was hidden in an electric scooter. Ukraine is claiming responsibility for the explosion. Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov, it was the chief of the Russian Army's Chemical Weapons Division. They say that because he gave orders to use prohibited chemical weapons against Ukraine's military. Russian investigators are calling the bombing an act of terrorism.
Now back to a major development in the investigation into the alleged Gilgo Beach serial killer.
New York prosecutors have formally charged the suspect, Rex Heuermann, with a 7th murder now. They say the latest alleged victim is Valerie Mack. She was just 24 years old when she went missing back in 2000. NBC News correspondent Emily Aketa joins us now. And Emily, Heuermann appeared in court today to face these latest charges. What else did prosecutors say about the victim that they allege he killed, and how were they able to connect him to her?
A whole host of evidence in these court documents, guys. Earlier this year, investigators had discovered a planning document that they believe Rex Heuermann had used to blueprint and methodically plan his kills. But one section in there lists Mill Road as a DS, or as prosecutors interpreted it, dump site. And then you look at some of Valerie Mack's remains. They were found just off of Mill Road on Long Island back in 2000, and a half-mile from another of Heuermann's alleged victims. Another key piece of evidence that prosecutors have been talking about is a hair strand that was found on Valerie Mack. Well, recent DNA testing had matched that DNA profile to Rex Heuermann's wife and daughter, though I should note the defense questions the reliability of that DNA testing, and Heuermann continues to maintain his innocence in what is now he is accused of 7 killings spanning a time period of 20 years or so. Here's more from the district attorney today. Take a listen.
The lives of these women matter. We as investigators, we understand that. Obviously, no one understands it more than the families. There's not so much we can do, but at least we provide them with a small measure of closure.
And you could see some of the victims' families standing behind the DA there, who says that he's going to continue to expand this investigation, guys.
All right, Emily Aketa for us. Emily, thank you.
Now to a warning from the FBI. The agency is telling millions of Americans to think twice before sending a text message.
That's because the U.S. believes that Chinese hackers are waging a cyber espionage campaign to steal users' data. The alert comes after a recent massive cyber attack that targeted several telecommunication companies, including AT&T and Verizon. NBC News business and data correspondent Brian Chung is here now with more. Brian, the FBI is saying that we shouldn't send text messages unless they're encrypted. I'm not sure everybody knows what that means. So what does it mean? And what is the easy way to encrypt your text messages?
Well, encrypting basically means that it's protected. And the reason why we talk about this issue with potential hackers, be it in China or anywhere else around the world, even domestic hackers, is because of the fact that unencrypted messages can be accessed for people that are using, let's say, for example, Verizon or AT&T, where if I send you a text message saying, Clay, yes, it's going from my phone to your phone, but it also lives temporarily in the servers at a Verizon or an AT&T. So if those messages are not encrypted, that could be the vulnerability point where a hacker could then take a look at those text messages and maybe use them for bad reasons. So that's the reason why encryption is important. There are apps out there like Signal as well as WhatsApp where they encrypt your messages so that there's a key that you and I have where we can then see those text messages, but no one else can see it because it, might be at Signal, but you need the code to unlock it. If a hacker doesn't have that code, they can't see the messages. Now, another point I want to bring up here is that iMessage also has encryption. So if you have an iPhone, those messages are going to be encrypted if you're sending it to another Apple device that also has iMessages. Same thing with Android to Android. It's when you have Android to Apple, cross-platform where you have the risk of non-encryption, Verizon, AT&T might be storing that message temporarily. That's the reason why encryption is so important.
Okay, that's really helpful. And you're sort of clarifying the blue bubble, green bubble thing,
yeah.
right? iPhones versus Androids. But separately, are there things that we just should not be sending over text that we should be mindful of?
Yeah, well, any sensitive information. So I can't think of a reason why I would want to do this, but I'm not going to text you my social security number or my credit card information. But it goes to show that if there's anyone that's asking you for that information, be very careful about that. And again, this is an issue not just with scammers or people where it's a phone number you don't know, it's even among your friends and family. Because again, if you're doing it on an unencrypted platform, there is a chance that a hacker could intercept it and then grab that information.
Should we maybe just pick up the phone and call someone?
Well, in some cases, phone calls can be at risk here too. So, we have to just be aware.